We're going to start out with Oregon State student athletes first. Before we begin, please make sure to silence or mute your cell phone or turn it off. When you ask a question, please state your name and your media affiliation and make sure who you're addressing it to. If you're joining on Zoom, please use the raised hand function for questions. We'll address questions in the room first and then go to Zoom if time allows. We do have a mic in the room, so when you are asking a question, please ensure you're using the mic. We're just going to open up straight up for questions.
When you came here at Oregon State after the 21-22 season, you'd come into a program that had a lot of success. Did you have to adapt as much, or what were the adjustments for you the 2 years that it took to get the program back to where it was for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge adjustment. Coming into any college program as a freshman is a new, scary thing. But Scott definitely has, huge standards for like the small little details. So having to adjust to those little things about my game that I didn't necessarily think about too much in high school was a huge adjustment. But I've definitely grown into a much better player.
Brett Taylor, KZI 9 Sports. Tulia, this one's for you. The last time Oregon State was obviously in the March Madness tournament, you were a part of that team. What have you kind of told some of your teammates this week leading up to this game about maybe some of the differences that you felt in your first time playing in the March Madness tournament and how it's kind of different from the regular season?
Yeah, I think that season was unique for a lot of reasons, just because I came in halfway through you go through so much over the summer in the preseason, building a team, gearing up for a season, and I kind of just jumped in at the end of January, and then obviously that was the COVID year, so we were in San Antonio in the bubble. So I think while it was, the NCAA tournament still, it's nothing like playing in it this year, and I think just for me individually and the tournament itself, it's very different, but obviously having that experience playing Florida State, and then I think especially with South Carolina in our region, having some conversations about them and what that was like. And we talk about, having that mindset of, every team South Carolina, in our heads we're playing South Carolina tomorrow at 5. So especially rebounding and defensively, just having that mindset going into it. And so for me, having kind of felt that against them my first year, I'd say it's, they're kind of the standard for that, defense and rebounding and just emphasizing that. So it's going to be a challenge. And I'm glad that I had that experience.
Brenna Green, Coin 6. Talia, kind of following up on that, that COVID bubble was certainly a different experience in terms of the NCAA tournament. Just how much are you looking forward to playing in a full-blown NCAA tournament environment, especially here at home?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm grateful for that experience that year. But, for me, this is my first NCAA tournament. That's what it feels like, just because of the circumstances of that first one. So, I'm super excited. Obviously, we're in Gill and a high seed and just so much excitement. And this team has just had a blast all year. So just looking forward to continuing that in such a great tournament.
David Graff, KNDU. Talia, you've persevered through so much. You posted about it earlier this week. How significant is it to you to get to this point and get back to the NCAA tournament? Yeah, it's incredible. I think just thinking back to, last year watching this tournament in a brace in my mom's bed at home, and then, you work all year to get here, and now it's becoming a reality. It's just super exciting, and I'm so blessed to be in this position with the people that I'm with. And yeah, it's been a long journey, so I'm just looking to continue it and just have fun in this tournament.
Bill Oram from the Oregonian. This could be for both of you, but you guys have talked about kind of the rarity of sticking together as a group. Nobody left after last year, despite the struggles of that team. Specifically, what were the things that gave you guys a belief that this team could be special? Like, what did you guys see internally that maybe people on the outside didn't see or didn't expect from you guys?
I think starting off this season, going to Italy and having our foreign trip at the beginning was a huge thing for us. Scott recruits amazing people, and we all get along super well. And I think people know that by now, but we're all best friends and we're inseparable everywhere. And on the court, I think that helps us a lot. Knowing my teammates. Me and Talia have played for a while now, so just having that connection and have that with all my teammates, and it's super special.
Yeah, and I think us two and then the other 5 returners that came back after last year, they were all freshmen, all in that same class. So I think they were just so close, and going through that tough freshman year and living in the dorms together, I think that how close those 5 were, and then kind of, AJ and I are close to them as well, but I think that bond you build in the dorms is a little bit different, so all of us just coming together, and then just the way that, I had surgery, but the way that they all approached spring last year and just having such a positive outlook and so much hope for what this year could be, even given the way that last year went, is just incredible. And I think it's just a testament to how much we care about each other and how close we are.
Hi, Annie Peterson from AP. Kind of building off that question, a lot of people point to that stretch you had of 6 games where you beat 5 ranked opponents as kind of the turning point of your season. But where would you guys look at the season and say, okay, this is when we realize that we can be really good?
I think we thought from the beginning we had something special. A lot of people were saying different things about us, but we didn't think twice about it. We knew we had something, and obviously we proved that along the way in many different games. But I think from the beginning we all had, we all had seen signs that we were going to do something special this season.
Yeah, I think I agree with that for sure, but I think there's a little bit of a level of kind of having to prove it to yourself. And so I think the mountain schools coming into Gill, I think Colorado was number 3 at the time, playing them on Friday. And, on paper that was a close game, but we felt like I think we dominated that game for at least 35 minutes. Obviously there's a couple of stretches that were tough, but, we dominated them that game and just played super well. And then that Sunday, I think Utah, that fourth quarter kind of got away from us, but those first 3 quarters I think were the best basketball we've played all year. And we watched that in film the other day too, just how impactful we were, especially defensively, and just the bounce and the energy that we played with. And we talked about if we play like we did that game against Utah, we think we can compete with anyone, and that's when we're at our best. So I think that was really when, coming off that weekend, just kind of looking around at each other like, yeah, we're kind of like that when we want to be. So I think that was a bit of a turning point, and just obviously you have a lot of belief and hope, but that was just really, really proven, the caliber of a team that we are.
Ron Callan with the Beaver Sports Network. Guys, talk a little bit about each other. AJ, what makes Talia a special part of the team, and Talia about AJ?
Talia just has a competitive fire and drive that, I've never had in a teammate. Even when we're having, our hard days, hard practices, she's pushing us all. Even when she's having a hard day, it's still that fight and that fire is there, and it's inspiring, it's infectious. She makes us all want to work hard and, push ourselves to be the best that we can. And, having a teammate like that is, it's priceless.
Yeah, and I think AJ, she's just one of our more, I think her and Donna are just our most consistent players, and you know what you're going to get from them every day they step in the gym. And so having that come from, one of the leaders on the team, and even just in her game, she gets to her pull-up, it's going in, certain defensive situations, the play she's going to make. And then I think just to step away from basketball, just the person she is and the way that she can light up rooms, make everyone smile, make everyone laugh, just be that positive, vibrant energy in the locker room. I think every great team needs that, and every great team has that. And so that's who AJ is for us, and I think us two being leaders on the team, like she said, I'm really competitive, and sometimes that's emotional, and that turns into frustration, and that's something I work through every day. But AJ's just consistent, she's steady, and she always makes the plays that we need her to, and she's just the same every day, and that's something that's really tough to do, and so it's just an incredible aspect of what she brings to the team.
Thanks, guys.
Talia, you mentioned the other day how well you know some of the players on Eastern Washington. What's it like playing against someone that you know so well, like you and Jacinta? And do you share a scouting report with your teammates since you know so much about her game?
Yeah, it's definitely just a super cool opportunity, I think. We played them last year, but to be playing Jacinta on a stage like this is just so cool. And we have a couple friends that might make the drive, friends that we share that we're both super close with. So just even for our families and friends to come watch us play against each other is super cool. Obviously coaches take care of the scout, but there's definitely a couple of things. Jacinta's one of the most gifted offensive rebounders I've ever played with, especially from the perimeter, the way that she follows her shot and just the knack she has for tracking the ball off the rim. So obviously the coaches emphasize that, but I was just like, just so y'all know, we need to box this girl out. So little things like that, obviously, but I'm just super excited to see her and step on the floor with her, and her journey has been incredible as well. So she's just a really great person, and I'm excited to see her.
Paulina with Fox 12. This is for either of you. What's been the conversations like between the team and the energy going into tomorrow? This is a team that you've played before, you've beat them before, but obviously this weighs a little bit more.
Okay. I think that I kind of alluded to this before, but just going into every game with the mindset of, this is a 1 seed. This is, obviously they are a great team. So you have to kind of go into it with that humility and that respect for the team. And so our mantra is kind of just to take it one game at a time. And we know, what the score or what the game should look like if we go in and take care of business and play the way that we know how to play. So I think just approaching it with the same level of respect that we would approach, any Pac-12 team, any top 10 team, whatever it is. That's kind of the goal throughout this whole tournament is just, following the scout, respecting them, emphasizing defense, rebounding, just who we are as a team and our identity, just keeping that consistent. And then I think just the excitement surrounding it. I mean, you grow up dreaming of playing in this tournament, and so this is dreams to reality, and I think we owe it to each other and to the little versions of ourselves to show up and do what we know how to do.
How much of an advantage is it to play at home with the fans?
It's a huge advantage. We're super excited. Playing in Gill is hard for anybody, any away team coming in here. And this whole season, Beaver Nation has showed up for us, and it's been really exciting to play in Gill. It's, something I'll never forget my time here. So it's definitely a huge thing that we get to play here.
We have time for one last question.
Brenna Green, Coin 6. AJ, can you just kind of give me a quick 30-second scouting report on Eastern Washington now that you know them a little bit better?
They have a really good point guard. We're just trying to slow them down. Play our game, play fast, play again. But they're hard rebounders, so going against them and boxing out, like Talia said, that's our main thing is thinking that every team is South Carolina and being ready to box out these aggressive teams, and you go in with an underdog mindset, but still ready to dominate in every aspect.
All right, thank you. Coach Rook will be here in a few minutes. Next up, we have Coach Ruick. Again, please silence or turn off your cell phones. Provide your name and media affiliation when asking a question, and if you're on Zoom, which nobody is right now, I guess we're all here in person, use your raise a hand feature. Coach, we're going to open up with a quick statement, if you would, and then we'll open up to questions.
Okay. Well, I think today's just, this weekend, I guess, is just just an exciting time for everyone. I'm just so proud of this team, for the way they've conducted themselves all year, and to have them, earn the right to be at home to start the NCAA tournament this year is, what everybody hoped at the beginning of the season, and it's just been a joy to watch it happen. And so that's just my feeling. I'm just happy for Beaver Nation that's supported us at the highest level, and happy for this team, to create an opportunity like this. And so we're looking forward to getting it started.
Okay, questions?
Brenna Green, Coin 6. Coach, you have Talia on this roster who was in the bubble, but that was kind of a weird year for her, as she talked about, just because she joined midway through. The only other player on this team who has NCAA tournament experience is Kelsey. That was with another program. So just what is it like coming into this tournament for the first time in a long time, having players on this team who have never really experienced this before?
Mm-hmm. For some reason, it just feels normal. This group has taken everything in stride all year, and we've had some unique experiences. I think the hunger that this team has had has focused their desire, their wanting to win at such a high level that it's been easy to cancel distractions and just focus on the game. They're so determined, to get back here. That's why they all came here. And last year was not fun, from a winning standpoint, and feeling like you were, you disappointed in yourself, the whole experience. I mean, we got better as it went, but everybody wants to be playing now. And so there's this underlying just desire that cancels, distraction. And that's a little bit of a distraction. It's like it's just a game, it's within the lines, and let's play. For me as a coach, I've had lots of experience with young teams in big moments, and I've had success, and that's how I coach. I don't feel it. Not anymore. I'm sure I used to, but the reason I'm sitting here is because of a national championship with 10 true freshmen, at Division III, but still, they hadn't been there, and it was just, let's go play and have fun and enjoy the moment. And, the lights are brighter, the gym, Gill looks different, there's banners up and different things, but the reality is this team is just filled with true competitors that want to win. And so, so I anticipate we'll take it in stride and just roll on, like we have, and play well.
Isaac Streeter of the Portland Tribune. Coach Talia talked a lot about treating every game like you guys are playing South Carolina. From a coach's perspective, how do you approach that when something like the scouting report changes with every opponent you play? Just continuing that mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talk about possession by possession being elite. We don't care who it's against, but certainly it changes game plan and the things that you're doing. But that statement just means we respect everyone. Obviously, if you mention South Carolina, they're the overall one seed. So that's the team that commands the most respect, So if you're treating everyone like that, then everyone's going to get your best, And I think that's a lot of wisdom right there in that approach, and I think that's what this team has done all year. There's been very little dip in effort or focus as the year's gone on. It's been a very high level of performance night in and night out, and that's why we're sitting here. So I think this team has demonstrated that, and it comes from that mindset.
Brett Taylor, KZI 9 Sports. Coach, you guys have played in a lot of big games this season, but a lot of the players on this team haven't played in a setting, in an atmosphere like this. What's the message, or what has been the message this week to the team as they get ready, obviously, to kick off, for many of them, their first time playing in the March Madness tournament?
Well, I think for the most part, we've focused on fundamentals. It's been a while since we've played, right? It's been 2 weeks, I think. And so everything's been fundamentals. It's just going back to the basics of the game and keeping our focus there and keeping our standards high throughout that. The one moment that we had this year that was really unique, I felt was at Stanford on Tara Day. It was Tara Day. There were I mean, it was a celebrity event, that we were invited to. And so, this team they've been in some environments that have been unique, that I think they've weathered well. And so I think it's just another game. And yes, we're playing for our life. Everybody is, at this point. And I think that probably, is the thing that probably drives your emotion more than anything else, is just that.
Nick Dashel from the Oregonian. How would you describe AJ's influence or impact on this particular team, given the experiences that she went through the first 2 years?
I think AJ had as big a role as anyone on our roster as to set the tone and build the foundation of this group. The Italy experience was a massive opportunity for us that I think this team took full advantage of, and I give AJ a ton of credit for that. Her spirit on that trip, she put everybody at ease. She's just fun. AJ brings joy. She brings positivity and energy to everything, all day, every day. And that was, half our team's new, and we're just forming. We have 10 practices, and then the next thing you know, we're immersed together for 11 days or whatever our trip was. And that's a lot of meals. That's a lot of time. An 11-day team retreat, basically. And AJ's voice was just consistent. And so as the group was kind of figuring out, who am I in this group, and what am I going to be, and is this a group that I can trust and be myself within? AJ's herself all the time, and so she just puts you at ease. And so her progress as a player, I think she's taken huge strides this year. And her wanting to win, I mean, was maybe the most verbal in saying it in the preseason. Coach, I just want to win. I came here to win. I just want to win. I think that rubbed off on everyone, and just so not only set the tone emotionally for the group, and as her spirit does, but also just expectation, like things are going to be different this year. And I think people just rallied with her, even though everybody wanted the same thing. She was the one that probably made it known the most.
You faced Ron Callan with Beaver Sports Network. You have faced quite a few Big Sky Conference teams in your 14 years here, including you've seen Eastern a few times. What about this Eastern team makes them special, and what about the Louetta factor and the fact that she's played here at Gill, and she had a pretty good game here a couple of years ago?
Yeah, lots of things make them special. I think and I would say that's what they are. I mean, you watch them, and it's inspiring to watch them. They've got an incredible floor leader, like you just mentioned. She is a coach on the floor, at the highest level. I mean, she gets it. She can do everything. Shoots it, passes it, runs the floor, or runs the show, and defends at a super high level, and gets the ball where it needs to go and controls tempo. I mean, all those things. I mean, she is what every coach dreams to have. And so when you have that at your core, and then you have the experience they have and the willingness to play hard, I mean, this team plays as hard as anybody, and they're gritty and tough, and they believe, and so I think I mentioned it at our selection show. They've won 29 games, and so if you've won 29 games, you feel lots of things, and one of them is, man, we're a team of destiny. I mean, you would have that thought. And so we know what we're facing, in that regard. And so I love the way they play. I love how unselfish they play, and they've got scorers all over the place, and they commit to the defensive end, and so that's what a good team is, and so they're a very good team.
Hey, Coach.
Hi.
Good to see you.
You too.
I'm wondering, a lot has been said about the fact that this team there weren't a lot of expectations for this team heading into this season. And I'm wondering if the team met your expectations, or if you're surprised by them, or if you always knew what you had.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, picked 10th in the preseason in our own conference, and then to be here, sitting as a 3 seed in the tournament and hosting. I mean, that's dreamy stuff right there. Nobody could have predicted it. I couldn't have predicted that. What I knew we had was a team that had all the pieces, and if the pieces came together, we had a chance to be a tough out every night, and we had a chance to be very good. And I knew the character of the group, but every group has to choose, to operate correctly. Leadership has to emerge, and obviously notch it up and level up from a year ago, and that all has happened. And so I would say, I can't say I'm surprised, and so this is how I answer that question. I've been asked that a couple times. I just say I'm pleased. I'm pleased because the vision that a coach has happened, and it's still happening. We still have levels to go. We're not to the peak yet. Are you kidding? We're still learning, but the ability of this group at its potential is scary good, and we've seen flashes of that, and we've seen stretches of that, and so I wouldn't put anything past this group, and I felt like that's what August was for us. It was just the first time they were together, the first time they formed, and the first time they competed. It was like, wow. Wow. I know we're playing an exhibition game somewhere in Italy, but the way that they competed and the way they played and how relentless it was and competitive it was uncommon. It was special. So I knew we had something, and then it's just been a joy to watch it come together. Yeah, thank you.
Alec Dietz, registered guard. You mentioned elite point guards on Sunday. Obviously, if you get through Eastern Washington, there's potential for facing some elite point guards. I guess what stands out, and you've gotten to take a look just about the point guards in this pod of the bracket?
Well, I know them all well. I did a home visit with Jazz Shelley. That was the only time I've been to Australia, and so I've watched her. I watched her play international before that through the recruiting process. So I know her game inside and out, and have respected her as a elite competitor. And then India. We got to know her, obviously competing against her for 2-3 years. I can't remember how. I can't keep everything straight anymore. But she had a great game against us a couple years ago, and we know how talented she is and how dangerous she is. And then Loetta, I have to say it right because I said it wrong the other day. We know her too. She put 18 on us in Gill last year, and played just a great complete game, and that game went down to the final couple minutes. And so I just have a ton of respect for each of them as competitors, for their games, for the leadership that they provide for their team, and know that their teams are here in large part, mostly maybe, because of their leadership. And so, much respect.
Yeah, with Shelley in particular, since the last time you've seen her, how's she kind of grown and transformed her game? Obviously, her numbers have gone up every year.
She's in a system where they need her, and they have needed her to be a scorer. And she, as I was watching her, she was a reluctant scorer. She was the player that you wouldn't notice for a while unless you had to really watch her. And if you're watching her, she's controlling the game defensively and offensively. And I know I'm talking about a game that is not yet happening or may never happen, but they're here. And so let's just talk to the fans watching basketball in Corvallis this weekend. But watching Jazz through the recruiting process, I just fell in love with her game because I saw all the little subtle things that she does that a coach can't teach. Her defensive awareness, and she'd get the timely steal. And then her scoring, she would elevate when they need it. It's not like she's coming out trying to get hers. She just wants to win. She'll do whatever it takes to win. And that's what really, that's what I coveted, through that process was this is just a great player that gets it at a uncommon high level. It's a gift. She has a gift. And now it's cool to see, her get to step up as a scorer and be so aggressive because now, she's just playing, into her game at her potential all the time.
Time for one last question.
Coach, over the last several days, we've asked a lot of the players what they're most looking forward to, either playing in the first March Madness tournament or being back in the March Madness tournament. What are you most looking forward to as a coach being back here in this spot and position?
Well, as a competitor, we're all competitors. I'm a teacher, but I'm a competitor too, right? And so it's just fun to be able to be back in the tournament after, a couple of years out. And so personally, that's the challenge of it's really fun. As a coach, I just can't wait to see this team, have the chance and have the opportunity to play in this. That's delivering on the recruiting, all the talks. Like, what do you want to accomplish in your career? Well, I want to go deep in the tournament. I want to experience that, and I'm just so happy that they get that. And really, it's special. There's a funky pressure playing at home, no question, in the postseason. That just comes with it. But there's no place you'd rather be, them playing at home in front of your fan base. And when your fan base is Beaver Nation and Gill Coliseum, it doesn't get better than that. And so I'm just excited for the team to have this opportunity that they've created.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
ASAP will provide transcripts shortly, and this will also be recorded and provided at ncaa.veritone.com.